Hello everyone. Today is Friday the 26th of September. So welcome to today's live stream. I am coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. Fiona Luke is here in case you don't know who I am. Now, obviously, every week I come live, or I am live at around this time. Although I have to warn you, Australia is going into daylight savings within the next week or so. So the time will change. I know some of you, or those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, are about to leave daylight savings. We're going into it. I'm very excited. It's my favorite time of year. I love it when the days are longer and you can just feel spring is in the air. So I'll let you know what that means in your time zone, but we'll be going into daylight savings on Sunday, October 5th, so not long to go for that. But at the moment, I am coming to you live at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, soon to shift to Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So as always, if you are listening here live, please say hello. Let me know where you're listening from, where you are in the world. And if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments and I will absolutely answer them for you today. So every week when I'm coming to you live, I'm drawing on things that have happened with my Relatable students. Relatable is my signature program. We have 2 live Q&A calls every week. So, and they're very interactive calls. They're different to what I'm doing here with you guys live. We're on Zoom, we're asking questions, we're talking, we're laughing, we're engaging, we're going deep into all the things. So when I come live with you on a Friday, I'm drawing on what's gone on with those calls, and obviously whatever's gone on with my private client work. So I also work with couples and individuals. So whatever is alive for me in my work, I draw from for you on these lives, because I feel that whatever's in the consciousness of the people I'm working with is generally in the consciousness of the collective, right? Because we are all connected. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are all connected. We're all connected by the same energy, right? We have the same power source that flows through every single one of us, that powers our heart, our mind, our brain, that powers the planet, that powers Mother Nature, that powers all things. We're all connected by this. So whether you're aware of it or not, whether you believe it or not, it just is. So whatever is in the collective of my clients and students, I feel like is part of the collective of the whole. So hi, Michelle. Thanks for saying hi. You're the first one to say hi. Thank you so much. Anyone else out there who wants to say hi, please do so. It's a public holiday here actually in Victoria where I live, because we have our grand final here, which is the equivalent to, I guess, although people who watch the Super Bowl might say it's not, but if you're in Canada, whatever your big hockey championship is, and if you're in the States, whatever your big, like the Super Bowl, it's our equivalent to it here. It's a pretty big deal for people who are into the footy here in Victoria, Australia. We call it AFL. It's Aussie rules football, and the big final is tomorrow. So it's a public holiday here, but here I am, still showing up, still serving, because I made a promise that I would be here, and I always like to keep to my word. I think that's a very important part of you understanding what I stand for and who I am. Hey, Mark. Hi, Liana. Hello. Tuning in for the Great White North. What does that mean? It started snowing where you guys are? Surely not. Surely not. Hi, Mark. Thanks for saying hi, and hello, Liana. Hi, Lee. Thank you for saying hi, darling. I so appreciate you all. Thank you for saying hi. It's appreciated. So one of the things that has come up this week, which I want to address, because I see that it is an enormous problem in our capacity, or how much capacity we have to connect with others. And please understand that connection is the cornerstone of existence for human beings. We cannot thrive if we are not connected. We just can't. We cannot thrive if we're not connected. Oh, you're too kind, Michelle. You're way more important than football. Now, I wouldn't want to put that to a debate. I think there are a lot of people that might disagree with you, but thank you. You're very kind to say, Michelle. I do appreciate it. So I was saying connection is the cornerstone of existence for a human being. And this is why relationships are so important, because they are the cornerstone of everything, right? The people that we love and care about are the people we want to feel connected to. And then there's our relationship with life, so our relationship with all there is. So we want to feel connected to that, right? That's very, very important, our level of connection to that. And let me tell you, as someone who's been working in this space now for, I don't know, I lose track, round about somewhere between 15 and 20 years, right? And I've been doing this work for a long time. I've worked with a lot of people. I don't say that to kind of say go me, just to say that I feel, because of that, I feel qualified to make this statement. But having worked with a lot of people from all over the world over many, many years, I can tell you right now, the people that have the most suffering in the world are the people who are most disconnected from what is. Okay, truth. This is true. I see this across the board. So it doesn't matter what country you're from, what culture, what religion, what gender you are. The people who are disconnected from what is, from all there is, are the ones that have the most suffering in the world. This is why things like hope and faith are so important to human beings, because having a sense of hope has us step out of our fear and closer to love. It lightens our mental load. It has us be more expansive, and it is a more loving frame of mind to be in. People who have a sense of faith are able to hand their problems over rather than carrying them, right? And so when we carry our problems, when we feel like it's us against the world, the weight of that is incredibly painful, exhausting, difficult, hard, etc. And again, there's much less of you on offer in all capacities, right? Hey, John. Hi. Nice to hear from you. Really nice to hear from you, John. I hope you're really well, John. I think of you and Kristen a lot. I really do. So, having a strong level of connection to yourself, to life, to others is the cornerstone of everything. Okay. And one of the things that came up this week, and it came up with my clients, it came up with my students, in particular, if you were on the Wednesday live call, is I see people falling into, and we do it so innocently and we do it so often, but people falling into a very strong judgment of their experience. Okay. So people judging their experience. And what I mean by that is people thinking they shouldn't be having the experience they're having. So people having a lot of resistance to that and then judging themselves for that. And, I'm a big believer in, and I know that this is true, right? I know that this is true, and I can say this because I've been doing this work for such a long time and worked with such a wide variety of people. As human beings, as much as we would love to be happy all the time, as much as we would love to be joyful all the time, as much as we would love to be positive all the time, we are not designed to be in that state of mind all the time. We're just not. That's not the design. That's not why we're here, right? So, and I see people judging themselves when their experience changes, as if, oh, well, I was here and then this happened and I should be over there. It's like, when you judge your experience, your suffering increases. The human experience is forever changing. And just like anything else in life, if you look out in the world, and what did I just start talking about at the beginning of this live? Like, we're moving into daylight saving. So we're now in the very early stages of spring, moving towards summer. You guys on the other side of the world are doing the opposite thing. You're in fall or autumn. If you're in the UK, that's what you call it. It's what we call it here in Australia. You're moving into a different season, a different cycle. And it's forever changing. Everything is forever changing. Nothing stays still. The one thing you can be guaranteed of is change. That is the one constant in life, is change. And yet as human beings, we keep getting surprised or shocked or disappointed when our experience changes. As though, hang on, no. I'm not meant to be feeling this way. I'm meant to be feeling this. No, I'm not meant to be upset. I'm meant to be feeling this. No, I'm not allowed to get angry. I'm meant to be feeling this. It's like, no, right? the minute you resist what is, you create more of it. Right? This is very important. The minute you resist what is, you create more of it. And so these are some of the conversations we have in my Relatable program, because when you can transcend your experience, and it is possible. I'm not saying you should, and I'm not saying you have to, but transcending your experience looks like this. I'm okay no matter where my experience is, right? I feel at ease regardless of where my experience is. Now, why do you think this might be super important? To experience ease, right? To experience ease irrespective of where your experience is. Why do you think this might be important? And why, like, that relationships are my jam. What has that got to do with relationships, right? Why am I talking about this? Anyone want to have a crack at that? Hey, Brian Barch. Nice to see you, Brian. Oh, lovely to have you comment here, Brian. You always have a soft spot in my heart. You know that. Nice. I hope all is well with you. I really do, Brian. Oh, hey, Craig. How you doing? Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate your comment, Craig. I really do. So why would I be talking about this, and what does that have to do with the relationships? Anyone want to have a crack? Because, most people, when they're talking about relationships, are talking about masculine and feminine energy, polarity, attachment styles, love languages, personality types, communication style. That's what most people talk about, right? Why would I be talking about this? What on earth has you being easeful with your experience got anything to do with connection and relationships? How do those two work hand in hand? Because I know some of you, who, especially those of you who are new to my work, will be going, why is she talking about this? Like, she's meant to be like talking about relationships, and like, what's this got to do it, right? Michelle, because we're here to experience the full range of the human experience. Yes, we are, most definitely. We are. Hey, Nathan. I know that you're in Europe at the moment, aren't you? So if you're tuning in live and you're in Europe, I'm very impressed, because it's got to be like the middle of the night for you, Nathan. So what does one have to do with another? Yes, Michelle's on the right track, but there's more. Anyone else want to have a crack at that? I'm trying to make this a little more interactive. Well, oh, you're back now, Nathan. Awesome. Welcome back. Craig, because we can't be connected all the time. Love it. John, it gives us a sense of innocence in others that you wouldn't have otherwise. Yes, that's definitely true, John. Definitely true. And Craig, here's the thing. We are connected all the time. It just looks like we're not, but we are always connected, right? Lee, we then just ride the wave of our experience instead of vomiting on your person. Yes, that's right. That is a big part of what Lee just shared. That's a big part, right? So I'm talking about, why would I be talking about how important it is to have a sense of ease irrespective of your experience? Because it's kind of the opposite to what we're taught, right? What we're taught is be positive. What else are we taught? You've got to be in the right frame of mind. You've got to kind of manage yourself. This is what we're taught, right? This is what most things will teach you. But the problem is, when you resist your experience, it takes a lot of bandwidth. It does. It takes a lot of emotional and mental bandwidth. When you don't have much emotional and mental bandwidth, are you very patient? Do you struggle to listen? Are you focused on you or what's going on around you? Are you present? Like, I really want you to think about this. When you don't have much emotional, mental bandwidth, because it takes a lot to resist your experience, to be managing yourself, to be fighting against it, right? It takes up a lot of mental and emotional bandwidth. When we don't have much mental and emotional bandwidth, we are not very good at generating connection. Our minds get busy. And the biggest blockage to intimacy and connection is a busy mind. We overthink. And our energy reflects it, and it repels people away. It does. And we end up generating the complete opposite of what we want. So I talk about this stuff because this is fundamental to everything. It's the foundation of everything. Everything. And when you understand this, then you build from there. So when the foundation is strong, right? And this is what I see with a lot of things. The foundation isn't strong. Relationships, people are trying to fix a relationship where the foundation is not very strong. And they wonder why they get to a certain point and it kind of collapses in on itself. This is very important. Now, if you're judging your experience, okay, if you're judging your experience, you are going to have a lot more thinking about it. Yes, because judgment requires a lot of thinking. You're going to have a lot of emotion. You're going to be you're going to have a lot of emotions. You're going to be emotionally dysregulated. Okay? When we're emotionally dysregulated, we're not very good at listening. We find it hard to get over ourselves. We're more likely to be defensive. We're more likely to lead with our insecurities. We're more likely to make an emotional mess. That's what happens, even though we don't mean to, even though we're trying really hard not to, right? But you know, who can relate where you're trying really, really hard, but the opposite is happening? That's because you haven't got the foundation. You can't, it's very hard to get traction without the foundation. And the foundation is easier than you think. But there's so much complicated stuff out there that tells you got to do this and do that and understand this and learn this and be this and be that it's like, no, that's not the foundation. And so we were talking about this. We had a pretty heated discussion about this on Wednesday's call. And for those of you who are in Relatable, the recordings are up for you to listen to that. Because I will always, because I'm always taking a stand when I'm working with anyone, whether it be my students, whether it be my couples, my individuals, whoever I'm working with, I'm always holding space for the higher version of you. Always, always, always. And I will speak to that, point to that, guide you to that, because that's where the power lies. It's where change lies. It's where progress lies. That's where we get to create what we want. So I'll always hold space for that. So many of you want to go back in the past and relive that and talk about that and sit there, right? And I get it, because it looks like if I overcome this, then that won't happen again. But when we focus a lot on the past, we innocently recreate it. And I say innocently, that's what we innocently do. Whereas when you're not judging your experience, right? When you're not judging your experience, it is a whole new world. It's a whole new world. There is so much more room in your head. Do you know how much room judgment takes up in your head? You would be shocked at how much space it takes up. Because we are constantly, whether we are aware of it or not, we're constantly analyzing our experience, constantly telling ourselves. And then because we're analyzing ours, it looks normal to analyze somebody else's, right? So you're analyzing yours, you're analyzing somebody else's. It takes up all or most of the majority of your bandwidth. And then there is no room for the things that you want, for what you want to generate, for fresh thinking, insight, the things that actually really move the needle. And so we find ourselves recreating the things that we don't want. And then we fall for the illusion that, well, of course this is happening to me again. It's because I'm this kind of a person, and I had this kind of trauma as a child, and I was brought up this way, and I'm this personality type. Right? We fall for all of that, and we think that's why. The stories we tell ourselves are the stories we tell ourselves judgment also. Yes. Depending on the story, but yes, 100%. 100%. The things that you believe. Hey, Shane Kelly, we need to learn bandwidth. We do, and it's like we need to experience it, right? Because once you really experience that, you don't want to go back. As human beings, we learn via experience, right? You have to experience it. You know, someone's ever told you not to touch that thing, it's hot, you can't help it, you touch it, you go, oh, that's hot, I won't touch that again, right? We learn via experience. And so things start off as an intellectual understanding, and then you experience and you're like, whoa, I'll have more of that, thanks. I'll have more of that lightness. I'll have more of that bandwidth. I'll have more of that feeling. I'll just have more of that. And the things that drag you away from it just no longer look as interesting. And I can say this, I say this is the kind of stuff my students experience all the time. Nathan labels schmabels. Yes, that's right. Where there's judgment, there's no love. But also where there's no judgment, there's just no room for anything else, which, same, yeah, there's no room for love. There's no room for presence. There's no room for fresh thinking and seeing something with fresh eyes. And to me, your capacity to do that, your capacity to understand that is the foundation, which you then build from. It is the foundation. Then you build your relationship from, you build the way you deal with conflict from that, how you communicate, the way you listen, all of it, you build from there. But if you don't have that, it is a massive missing piece, and the most fundamental missing piece when it comes to our capacity, our ability to generate connection, to repair a relationship, to build a relationship, to all of it in every way. And it's also the foundation of your own level of well-being, right? Human beings who experience well-being do really, and well-being often. And what I mean by well-being is you're okay even when things are not okay, right? You're comfortable being uncomfortable. You experience peace even if there's chaos out here. And this is truly possible. People in that state who experience well-being do really well at relationships. Why? Because they don't feel the need to control the narrative. They're able to let go. They're more flexible. They get over themselves, right? People just really struggle to get over themselves. People find it really hard. Really hard. And I understand why. But you got to be really good at doing that in order to have the kind of relationship that you want, the level of connection that you want. Lee, it's a beautiful space to live from. It truly is. The feeling of it is amazing. You would have to experience it to really know what I'm referring to. But it is a beautiful feeling. Now, when you're in the feeling of that, and if you're wondering what I mean by that, I mean that space of everything that I've just been describing. Your energy is a reflection of that. And when your energy changes, what you attract and create changes. It has a profound impact on the people around you. This is why I call this is all the foundational stuff. And why from there it becomes so much easier to build what you want to be able to build, to stand in the space of what you want to create. Because we all are the ultimate creators. We just don't know it. Not the way that we need to, not the way that we could, and we don't own it the way that we could. But when you see it, when you experience it, when you know it, all the things, well, let's just say, anything that you've ever thought was true about yourself is up for grabs. Anything that you ever thought was true about another person is up for grabs. And to me, that's the coolest thing ever. And is the reason why my husband and I have so much goodwill, so much connection, where we get over things very, very, very fast, while we absolutely know we have each other's back. even though we may have opposing views, and we do, there are many things we don't agree on at all. We don't see eye to eye on. But I don't need him to agree with me for me to feel connected. It's totally okay. So I wanted to talk about that today because I will always, for my students, for all of you, I will always call you out when you judge yourself. I'll always hold space for you to be able to let that go, because it's so freeing when you do. You know, as human beings, we're messy. We make a lot of emotional messes. I do. We all do, even with the best of intentions. Now, inside my Relatable program, you'll deeply understand why based on what I would teach you in there. But we make a lot of emotional messes. So you have to be really good at cleaning a mess up. But the goal can never be not to ever make another mess, because that's not setting yourself up for success, right? It's just not. It's like when you're at ease with your experience, then you will be at ease with somebody else's, right? One generates another. One mirrors another. And of course, from there, and this applies to any and every relationship you are experiencing, whether it be a parenting relationship, an intimate relationship, family, one with you, whatever it is. From there, anything is possible. And to step into a space of anything is possible is the most amazing feeling. Because do you know how rare it is that we do that? And I say that because without knowing it, we are continuously limiting ourselves by the thinking that looks real and true. And so I truly do believe this, and because I was given the gift of this, and I want everybody to have the chance to experience it, right? I want everybody to have the opportunity to get to know themselves outside the limitations of their own thinking. And now that doesn't mean that you've got to be in a positive mindset all the time. Not at all. Not at all. Because that's not possible. It's not even the way things work. It's totally working against everything, the laws of everything. So that's not what I'm saying. But when you have a sense of ease around your experience, irrespective of what it is, then you're moving closer and closer towards that space. So judgment of self is something I'm always going to challenge, because it limits your experience. It limits your experience. We're not here to be perfect. There is no such thing, right? That's a moving target. Whatever perfection is, I was taught once many years ago, and I love this, that a perfectionist is someone who doesn't have any standards. And that might be challenging to some of you perfectionists out there, but I totally agree with that statement, in the sense of a perfectionist, it will never be enough. Oh, I just got to tweak this, fix this, do that. There's never a standard of completion. There's always just next, right? You don't ever want to be like that with yourself. It's not a healthy, sustainable place to generate connection from, to live from. And there's always a sense of something missing or dissatisfaction in your energy. And that's not an easy thing to be in a relationship with either. So people who are at ease with their experience have a completely different energetic frequency than those who are not. They carry themselves differently. They listen differently. They show up to life. They meet life in a different state of mind, a different everything. And they generate a completely different level of connection to those that are not. Now, most of us, without meaning to, it's very innocent, most of us are living our lives from the opposite space, where we are not comfortable with our experience. We're fighting it all the time. We're thinking it was different. We're judging ourselves and therefore judging others. And we're doing this so often, and it's become so normal we don't even see it anymore. And then we wonder why we're not getting traction with the people that we love, or when things get difficult, why it's the same kind of thing happening over and over again. So understanding what creates the foundation of connection, of experience, of relationships, of all of those things, when you understand that, you build from there, and it's a completely different level, completely different level. Shane, thank you. Hey, Alison, great wisdom as always, Fiona. Thank you, honey. Appreciate that. So yeah, these are some of the things that I'll challenge when it comes out of my students' mouths and I don't even realize it, or a client or whatever, because it's like when you can see past that, so much more available to you in terms of what you can generate, in terms of the level of connection that is available to you, the bandwidth, I could go on and on and on. And it is an amazing space to live from. It just feels fantastic, right? Just does. Feels amazing. And so you have to understand, as human beings, we are driven by the need to find a good feeling. We are driven by that. And so the need to find that good feeling, and I just want to say there are dysfunctional ways in which we will meet that need, right? By drinking too much, eating too much, creating drama, busyness, scrolling on social media, our phone, whatever, right? But that need to find a good feeling is very, 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 very strong. So think of it like this. If you're someone who's not comfortable with your experience, you will not be generating a good feeling. And so the person around you, without realizing it, will be attracted to other things, i.e., oh, I need to spend more time at work. I'm going to hang out with my friends. They'll be focused on the kids if you've got kids a lot. Like they'll be doing the things that feel good because it doesn't feel good to be around you. I can't tell you how important this is. This is the foundational stuff. Now, you can learn all the techniques and strategies in the world, but if you're not generating a good feeling, it's not going to change anything. Now, people think generating a good feeling means doing lots of stuff, right? It's not about the things that you do. That's secondary. It's all about the space you do them from. The doing is always a reflection of that. And these are the things that people don't understand. And so we focus on the doing. It's like shutting the stable door after the horse is bolted. Like kind of useless, really, and exhausting. So you can be rushing around doing all the things, but it's not actually moving the needle. So this foundational stuff is what moves the needle. And so this is why I don't talk about all of those other things, because I don't believe they move the needle. They're helpful, interesting pieces of information, don't get me wrong. Like, and human beings love to have helpful, interesting pieces of information, but they have a limitation. And the limitation is based on the amount of willpower that you have and the state of mind you're in. And because this is an ever-changing, fluctuating thing, it is, then you're constantly coming up against that limitation. But when you're operating from a completely different understanding, you don't come up against the same limitation. And so that's why there is a greater possibility for you to generate the kind of change that you want to generate in your life and your relationships and in other things. But it all does really start with you. And so I'm going to come back to the thing that I started this live about, and what I wanted to talk about today was when we are judging ourselves, this is the price that we pay, all the things that I've been talking about. And it is such an enormous price. In my mind, it's just not worth it. Not worth it at all. Okay, now, just want to check in with you guys. Does anyone have any questions about what I've just been talking about? Do you have a question that's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about and you would like me to answer? And, if anyone's got any feedback on what I've been sharing, please let me know. I'm very passionate about this. I talk about it a lot because I know how powerful it is. I just know, based on my students, my clients, whatever, just how powerful understanding this is, living from this space is, and developing this for yourself is. Now, there's a number of my clients and students on this live here. So, you're more than welcome to share your experience of that if you want to. If anyone else is on the live and you want to ask a question, please do so. I wasn't going to answer questions sent in to me today because I really wanted to address this. It was a very overwhelming need that I had when I was thinking about, not that I spent a lot of time thinking about these things. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. I tend to just press live and see what comes out. But I knew I wanted to talk about judgment and judgment of self, because we are so quick to accept it as truth, to accept it as this is the way things are and here is why. And I won't accept that from you guys. I'm always going to challenge it. And I do that because I care and I love you. And I want you to be able to see what I see. I want you to be able to experience what I get to experience. And there's no reason why you can't, because we're all the same. I'm no different to you. So to me, this is fundamentally important. And it absolutely impacts the collective. Hey, Brian, Relatable allowed my world to change. If you're looking at Relatable, you won't regret it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate you. Okay. Well, if nobody else has any questions, hey, Penny, got here eventually. Hi, darling, welcome. If nobody else has got any questions, I'm going to close it out for today, and I will see you all next week. Hey, Nathan, we all go away from pain and towards a good feeling. Judgment doesn't feel good to anyone, especially ourselves. Correct. It really doesn't. But it's amazing how, if that's something that you've normalized, right? If that's something that you've normalized, you won't even see it. You don't even realize it. You just accept that as the way things are. I can't tell you, once we normalize something, it disappears. That's the thing. It disappears. And I think that's one of the great things about Relatable and what we look at there. It makes the invisible visible. You can't change what you can't see. You can't choose what is not conscious. You don't have conscious awareness of, right? So, it's like there are so many things that we do that we accept as fact and reality because they've been around for so long that we just normalize. And that's the beautiful thing as well. When you look in this direction, things that you've normalized, you stop normalizing them. You actually have a lower tolerance for them, which is a fantastic thing, right? So when you lower your tolerance for something, your capacity to create change around it is much, much, much greater. So to give you a really quick example before I sign out here, those of you who are angry and quick to react, and I use this as an example because that was me, right? I was quick to anger. I was quick to react. What I didn't understand was that I had a very high tolerance for those things. So what that meant was I had to be quite angry and already in a quite reactive frame of mind before I realized I was there. Now, tell me, let me ask you a question. Is my ability to choose something else when I'm more entrenched in an emotion or less entrenched? So is my ability to choose something else higher when I'm more entrenched in an emotion, or when I'm less entrenched? Hey, John, no questions live, but I think I want some face-to-face time for questions. Be nice to catch up too. It really would, John. It really would. Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. Be awesome. Rebecca, beautifully expressed Fee. Thanks. I'm loving Relatable so much. Thank you, honey. Thank you. So very true. I was there before. Yes, that's right, Craig. It's less, right? So my ability to create change, right, is when I'm less entrenched. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Hey, Angela. Thanks for your comment. That's right. It's less entrenched. When I'm less entrenched. But if I have a very high tolerance for being in that state of mind because I've normalized it for so long, right? And this is what I hear all the time. People are like, why am I so stuck? Why can't I change that? It's because your tolerance for having that experience is quite high. Now, when you look in the direction of what I teach, your tolerance for being in those places lowers. It stops making sense. And so all of a sudden, you find that space to choose something else that you've never been able to find before. This is super, super important. Super important. It's very empowering. It feels amazing. You're like, I can do this. I never thought I can. I can actually do this. And wow, in fact, that's not even who I am. It's an amazing feeling. Okay. All right, everybody. I've got to go, but thank you so much for your comments. Thanks for hanging with me. If you've got a question, you can send it to hello@fionalukis.com.au, and I will be more than happy to answer it for you next time I'm live. If you would like to know about Relatable, if you'd like to join us, I'm putting the, hang on, that's not the right link. I'll put the link in the comments below. And yeah, if you've got any comments at all, anything you want to share with me, just let me know and I will get back to you. Wishing anyone who's in Victoria a great, what's the word? A fantastic grand final. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Ciao.